Young ladies, let me take this opportunity to urge you all to drastically scrutinize your men. Know his ins and outs, his past and ambitions, and most importantly, get to know how religious and unreligious he is before accepting his proposal. This story should give you a case study on your journey to marriage. We met at the Independence Square in 2017 at a summit. He gave me a ride, and there was mad traffic in town that night. We exchanged numbers and alighted, and that was the beginning of our fairy tale. I was madly in love with him. He was almost perfect. So let's call this guy Kwabna. Kwabna never faltered in any way while we dated. Never did anything to get me mad. He was always so calm, collected, organized. 2 years down the line into our marriage, I started asking some questions. Though Kwabna wasn't in favor of us having kids immediately, I was down for the responsibility. I mean, I was turning 33 years old, and getting pregnant at that age would have been ideal for me. I secretly visited any fertility clinic nearby once in a while. Everything is fine with you. Just have some patience. You get pregnant soon. These were the doctor's same words every time I visited the clinic. Pabana and I were having frequent sex, even more frequent than we used to. So it was all just not making sense to me. It was all not making sense to me as to why I was not getting pregnant. Our trip to New York was in 3 days' time. Hey, then you guys are traveling. Oh, you guys are traveling the world. Money is good, girl. Okay, let's move on. Kabna was taking me there for Christmas holidays. I started to pack some of our clothes while Kabna was out to run some errands. And to my amazement, while searching through his things, I found some documents which I noticed were from a fertility clinic that I also visited. I opened up this last envelope when I saw my doctor's signature on it. Hmm. I started to get chills immediately. What in the name of the Lord will my husband be doing with my doctor that I had no idea about? I thought. It continued as a receipt of a vasectomy operation done on my husband 2 weeks before our wedding in 2019. Pabna came home to meet a broken, distraught, crying wife on the floor right in front of the staircase with a paper in my hand. I cried even louder when I saw him run up to me. I slapped the paper in his face with rage. How dare you do this to me, Pabna? You have deceived me all these years throughout our marriage. Explain this to me, or let me rather say, lie to me as you've been doing all these years. You liar. Hey, this one bought, she bought. Where you spending the money? What are you expecting? Anyways, let's go. He took he took the sheets of paper and shook his head in shame. He then sat down next to me, looking forward with a stern look on his face, and said, "Baby, I am sorry. But I had to do what I did. I had no choice. You were so obsessed with having children, and I had to take that bold step." His words got me more pissed. I felt so insulted. But just before I could raise my hand, give him a slap, he shouted at me, "How did you think I amassed all this wealth? Huh? Tell me, baby, a 33-year-old owning these things, all these cars, all these houses, all these expensive trips, your expensive lifestyle. How did you think I was able to afford and keep up the lifestyle?" I felt so confused at this point. But what has your riches got to do with all this? Stop trying to change the subject, you dirty liar. She says, "You've been caught. You start explaining and cut the rubbish." I uttered. Okay. That was when he dropped the bombshell. Let's wait for the bombshell. Hey, I can't wait to. What I'm trying to tell you is that I made a pact with an occult. Hey, Jesus. Jesus is Lord. Jesus is Lord, oh, occult. I made a pact with an awkward group which I am still a member of, never to father any kids, whether biologically or not. As a trade for my wealth, I made a promise with blood never to have any kids, whether mine or adopted. I'll either go mad or die if I'm to break this promise. So stop with all this and let's move on with our lavish lifestyles. I have given you the world. Let's enjoy it, please. I could feel my soul leaving my body. I felt light all of a sudden, and a sudden of cold sensation came over me. I could not even utter one word. He stood up to leave but stopped halfway, and with a smile on his face, he turned and said, "And please, don't try to file for a divorce. I have spilled enough blood in this life." If we're to be you, what would you do? Share your thoughts.